With all the ERP options out there, it can feel very intimidating and confusing when you're trying to pick the right one for your shop. Do I go with this one? Is this better suited for what I'm doing? It goes on and on and on. What's up, guys? Ian Sandusky from Lakewood Machine Tool back here again for Practical Machinist. And on this special episode of Machine Shop Talk, we're going to be diving into how you can select the best ERP system for your machine shop. But before we do, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications below to make sure you never miss a video. Let's get into it. Okay guys, so as promised today, we are going to be diving back into the ERP pool. I've been looking at one for my shop for a while. I've been getting a little bit frustrated and upset with my current system I'm using, a mix of an accounting software and Excel spreadsheets. It's getting to be too much to manage, so I figured now's the time I should actually start really looking at which ERP system is best for me. Like I said off the hop of this one of the biggest problems that it can face a shop like mine is that there are so many options, even at the same company, to choose from. For example, for ECI, there are about 8 different softwares, or maybe it's only 4, I can't remember. But there's many different softwares that are all ERPs that might be good for you if you're this size, or might be good for you if you're this size. Or do you need certain kind of traceability features, or do you want it to perform like this? Fortunately, ECI has come out with a new system that will let you go on and do this little questionnaire that will help tell you which one you should be using. So today we're going to go run through that and then probably try to talk to somebody who's actually using that system to see if it picked it right for me. Let's go. Okay guys, so we're going to go on to the ECI Manufacturing ERP Recommender. I've been told this is a pretty quick process, 13 questions. We're going to give it a shot and see what it tells me I think I should be using. So let's start. What is the primary reason you are looking for a business management solution? I would say to automate the business process or to grow my business. I'm going to say to grow my business because that kind of makes a bit more sense to me. I want to make life easier. What systems do you currently use for running manufacturing operations? Excel and manual methods? I'm going to say Excel and manual methods because we do use Excel spreadsheets. We use QuickBooks predominantly right now. And then we use just kind of Excel and Google Sheets to just kind of keep track of everything else. So let's go with that one. Number of employees, 0 to 20, as you know in my shop. How would you describe your manufacturing operations? Job shop, make to order, 100%, and that's it. Do you have an IT team? We outsource that. We have a team that we work with closely who manages all our IT stuff, but we do not actually have an IT team, so I'm going to say no. Does your financial practices require enforcement of GAAP compliant accounting? I don't know what that is, so I'm going to go ahead and say no. Oh, I guess you know what? I'm going to say I'm not sure. What financial software do you currently use? QuickBooks Desktop. That's what we use here. Do you want real-time financial accountability, known as transactional accounting, based on actions taken in the business management solution? I'm going to say I'm not sure because I don't really know what that means either. Does your business require multiple company databases or multi-currency support? I'm going to say no because although we do a little bit in US dollars, most stuff we do is in Canadian. So just for the sake of this, I'm going to say no. We're going to pop that in there. Do you need to manage inventory and labor transactions from mobile devices? It would be nice but not required is what I'm going to say here because one thing, obviously, if you watch my videos, I'm on the road a lot. So if I could keep track of things a little better from the road, that would be helpful. So we're going to say it would be nice. Do you want your CAD software to have bi-directional updating of BOM information? I don't know. I don't really know what that means. I'm guessing it means when I put out a work order, it's going to come with a CAD. I'm going to say, yeah, that would be nice. Let's try that. Would your ordering process benefit from a dynamic selection of material options to drive the configuration of your products and reduce errors in the ordering process?
I don't really know what that means, so I'm going to say no. We don't need that functionality. We can always go back and add it back in after, maybe. Will you need to manage multiple warehouses in separate locations? That is a no. We are a one-stop shop. What is your decision time frames for selecting a business management solution? Honestly, if you've been following me on this journey and how much I've been looking at this, it's been going on a long time. I'm going to say probably 3 to 6 months, but likely 6 or more months. So why don't we go right in the middle and pop that in there? Because something needs to happen soon. So based on what it's telling me, what I've provided, Job Boss Squared is the management solution that is a good fit for us. It's kind of what I was thinking. I've had some guys say some of the other options have worked for them, but I'd be interested to find out why Job Boss is such a good fit. So ECI is actually going to hook me up with someone who is running Job Boss Squared. We're going to talk to him and see, what do you think? And let's find out.
Now I'm joined by Dave. Now, Dave, tell us a little bit about your company before I explain why we're talking.
Sure. Deep King Precision is a third generation screw machine manufacturing company. We're AS 9100. We've been around since 1962. So my grandfather started it. My dad took over, and I took over at the start of COVID from my dad. And here we are, 60 something years later. And I guess why we're talking today is I have a fully implemented ERP in Job Boss Squared at our shop. And so I'm here to pick, you can pick my brain. Let's talk about it.
You already got me going. So I did the online tool they have now, which you go and you answer a bunch of questions, and it tells you which of the ECI ERP systems is best suited for your shop. We're a 7-man shop. We are job shop focused. We have repeat orders, but a lot of it is kind of on the fly type stuff. We're not currently using anything for an ERP. We have a accounting software we use, and we use Excel spreadsheets and such for the job tracking and all that kind of stuff. So the software picker told me that I should use Job Boss Squared. So if that's what you guys have there, I'd like to hear a little bit about why did you guys choose it? Was that something you guys chose yourselves versus, some of the other options available there? Or was that something somebody suggested to you?
Yeah. Well, we have a very similar operation. I'm in the high 20s. So I have about 28 employees, so we're a little bit bigger. But yeah, so we chose Job Boss Squared. In 2016, when I came back on, we were looking for new ERPs. My father at the time was using one, but he wasn't using it really well. Really, maybe about 5% implemented. And so, when we're looking around, we found Job Boss Squared at, I think, FabTech, like back in 2016, around there. And at that point, they're talking about doing their cloud-based solution. So I was jumped on, and I was actually on the beta testing portion of Job Boss Squared, and helped them kind of work out some of the bugs on the cloud system. And here we are, I don't know, what is it, 8 years later? And yeah, it's going well.
Now, one thing I got to ask, because this has always been a big sticking point for me, and a lot of people I talk to out there, they kind of have the same thought about it, is everybody knows, or at least should know, that you can't just take this software package, no matter how good it is, drop it on your desktop, plug and play, and away you go. That implementation phase can be difficult. It can be grueling. It can be, I've heard it described a lot of different ways, and some people say it's not that bad. How was your experience with actually implementing it and getting it going? And how much time does it take out of your day now to keep it implemented? Because again, I have a feeling it's one of those things, if it doesn't get used, it's useless.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, there's a lot of, it's my first time implementing an ERP, 8 years ago. So there's a lot of things I do differently now that I know now than I did then. I'm sure I can implement a lot faster than I did before. But there's a lot of, there's a journey along the way. You got to figure out how your staff reacts to it. You learn how to get buy-in. Every staff's going to react differently. Every shop's a little different. So the implementation is going to be different. But, the big approach we took is, I'm not making Job Boss Squared meet my quality systems or try to find its route into my quality systems. I wrote my quality systems around my ERP, Job Boss Squared. So that's one thing. You're not going to make it fit for yourself. You have to kind of fit your systems to it. And for the most part, I'm AS 9100. My entire certification system is in Job Boss Squared.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. So you're capable. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. It takes time, and it's going to take time to get that buy-in. But just keep pushing on it, keep going. Again, make your systems work around it. And to the point where it's so ingrained into my quality system, like there's no way you can pull it out. If I ever have to switch ERPs one day, it'd be a nightmare because it's built within my system.
But since it is built within your system, it functions very well, I'm taking it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm a 28-person shop. I have 3 people in the office. So, I mean, we do a lot in the office with little.
And one thing I keep hearing is that when I'm talking to people about ERPs is you almost need one person or a couple of people whose real focus is getting something like JobBoss Squared going. And that's their focus on a daily, if not weekly basis to keep it going. Is that something you found?
It was my job. I had a lot of hats. I mean, it would have been nice if that was just my singular job. It probably would have got a little faster. But yeah, I mean, if you could afford that, it would be very helpful.
And what's something that you didn't expect that was a huge benefit from putting in JobBoss Squared? Something that maybe just, I didn't buy it for this reason, or I didn't put it in my shop for this reason, but now that it's there, I'm just like, wow, this is easier.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say a boring answer because most of it I expected. Yeah, I just need to implement it. But what I found was kind of great for me is like the accounting and budgeting feature out of JobBoss, which it's probably not the most sexy answer, but for me that's a huge thing. You track your expenses, you check it against your budget. You know where you're at. You're making changes on there. There's some production things too that we modified to make work for us too, but that's kind of stuff I kind of expected out of the box. So.
And what's something to kind of flip that on its head that maybe you weren't expecting to be such a challenge, or, just something you put it in and you're like, I didn't expect this to be the thing that's making my day difficult right now until you got a hang of it. Was there anything like that?
I mean, that's a simple answer. It's scheduling. I mean, when you're dealing with JobBoss or probably any ERP, the end goal of the ERP is have a schedule that you can count on that's being maintained by your ERP. Now, it takes a long time to get there, right? You have number one, you have to have really accurate data collection. So you have to have staff buy-in to make sure they are collecting numbers correctly. Mistakes are made quite often, so you have to have a way for them to fix that, right? So that's just the data collection portion, right? And then there's just so much on top of that too that go into it. That then you have systems behind things to make sure things are working well. It's a big project.
From what it sounds like, and what I'm interpreting here is that much like any beast of burden, if you're not feeding it correctly and taking the time to take care of it, it's not going to produce the best work it can do, right? It kind of sounds like if you get out of it what you put in. Is that kind of a fair thing to say?
Yeah, I mean, good data in, good data out. Bad data in, bad data out. You can't use bad data. It's not going to work. You're not going to be able to make good decisions that way.
And what would you say to people who are maybe a little more skeptical with putting something like this in? Like, one thing I always hear is people say, we're not big enough for an ERP system. We do way too much high mix, low volume for it to make sense. I got 10 guys. How am I going to get them all on board? What kind of things would you say to companies that might be in that kind of position or mindset right now?
Yeah, now is the perfect time. Okay. I had to take a shop of, before COVID, we were almost 50 people. So I had to go and implement a JobBoss with 50 people. As you can imagine, it was rather difficult. If you're a small shop, if you're a 7-man shop, man, go for it. Because for a couple $100 a month, you're going to have a full system of everything you need. And everything I have, all my certifications, everything is all digital. It's all digital. So to start from the beginning and then build on top of a good foundation, I think is a better way to go than to try to implement a system, when you're a lot bigger. Plus, right, you scale a lot faster. And to side point this, I have another company I started as well during COVID. We made jewelry, piercing jewelry, and we used JobBoss Squared from day one. And that thing it skyrocketed. It went quick because we know our systems. It's scalable, no problem.
So it's one of those things where
now we have 12.
The earlier you start it is almost the better, because then you're growing with it as opposed to playing catch up. Does that sound kind of accurate?
Yeah, I mean, it's built into your quality management system. So if you are building your quality management system with your ERP in mind, I mean, you're set up. Otherwise, you're gonna have to go back and fix your entire QMS.
And one quick question for you, just to get my own head around how, because I've seen little demos of it, but I've never been in a shop. and actually sat on their computers and got to go through and see how it works. When you produce a job, from what I understand, that job in Job Boss Squared would have the information for the job. There's also, because you say you keep your certs in there, would it also have all your drawings and stuff like that with the actual job?
I use doc control. So, if especially, so all POs, drawings, specs, we even have quality. If we had issues with the job before, we'll create something called a quality alert that will print with the traveler. Then that gets posted on the machine too. So they're made aware of past issues.
Oh,
There's so much stuff that is, and here's the thing, my employees, the way we found data collection to work here is my employees have an unactivated shop phone. It's on Wi-Fi. And all their data collection, their documents, their emails, their HR, everything is pulled from into their phone. It's seamless, man.
so everybody just has their own wireless key into this thing, essentially.
Exactly. So it's individual access control too. You're not dealing with shared logins. They have their phone. They pick that up every day, and that's how they clock in for work, and that's how they log into jobs.
That's handy. I've never heard of that before. You always see people with barcode scanners or central computers, but that way these guys got these things on them every day. Away you go. It's at your fingertips.
Job Boss Squared has applications for Android and iPhone. I went on eBay, found some $30 phones that are rugged. They've been kicking butt. They're doing great.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today. This has been incredibly enlightening. I learned a lot of stuff that I didn't either understand fully or wasn't aware of at all. And if people want to find out more about your business and you, where can they go?
www.dking.com.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Got it, guys. Thanks so much.
So there you have it, guys. I hope this was as interesting for you as it was for me. Something that's always been kind of a difficult fact for us here at Lakewood when we've been looking at ERPs is the question of, are we too small for this? Or are we already so far gone with not having an ERP system that it's too late to put one in? I've kind of felt like I've been in both camps over the years. So it was really encouraging to hear that, you can be much bigger than we are, about double the size of our shop, and you're not going to be playing catch up for 5 years to make it work. It was also really helpful to hear that even if you are small, putting it in and letting it grow with you is actually a very viable strategy. There's no real too early or too small to put in a system like this. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that because I sure did. Thank you very much for watching, guys. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications below to make sure you never miss a video. Thanks again for watching. You take care.